What's good, everybody? Once again, this is SilentMode, maker, artist, and LEGO Enthusiast. And as you can see on the table, it is finally here. Well, it's been here for a while, but I've gotten the second part of this intended plan. In this box, this is exactly how it came from LEGO, is a copy of the LEGO Ideas vending machine. I'm going to open it right now. I can see Alexandria in the chat. How are you doing, Alexandria? Thank you for stopping by as usual. And to everybody else who happens to be listening right now, thank you for joining me. I always appreciate it. Alright, so I'm guessing they packed it like this because this is how it usually comes when they put them on the shelves. But this is quite a big box. Feels quite weighty as well. How's it going, little Lego? How are you doing? Let me just find somewhere to put this. All the way over there. Alright. So obviously you guys have seen me build the original Pantasy Gumball machine, which no doubt this was inspired by. And you see me build an AliExpress copy, which you can get for literally 20% of the price of this set. And now it's time for the official version. I see Kathy, the infamous Kathy Miley, in the chats as well. How are you doing, Kathy? All right. Shout out to Little Lego as well. Shout out to Mayo Hosco. Both of them built the same set in their respective live streams, which I really appreciate. Just figuring out what the best way to open this box is, actually. I guess it's this way. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I still have this injury on my right side. I've actually determined it's a trapped nerve or a pinched nerve. So it's not too serious, although it's annoying. And hopefully it's going to go away in a few days or so. Just have to take things relatively easy. I guess this is the first challenge, trying to figure out how to get this box open. It doesn't open the same way as typical Lego boxes. So there we go. Hey, compared to what some other people are going through right now, it's a very minor thing. But thank you. Alright, so this slides off like so. I've got paper bags. Alright, so I'm not going to build the whole thing at once, as you guys can probably imagine. How's it going, Tristan? I see you there as well. Thank you for stopping by. I can feel in this bag we've got some glass panels. And this one as well. Now, one fun fact, I just had a look on both Amazon and AliExpress. They actually have lighting kits for this set. So let me know in the chats if you think I should light this one up once it's been built, which would involve trying one of the many third-party lighting kits. They all seem to look different, but I think it would be quite a nice effect to have this lit up. It seems to be the trend these days. Excuse me. It seems to be the trend these days to light sets up. I think it would be pretty good. So I think for tonight I'm going to go through bags 1 through maybe 4. On the one hand, I do want to do this. I want to get this completed before the big day this week, but at the same time, I don't want to take too long. So this took Little Lego about 4 hours to build. That's pretty decent, I think. Because if you remember, I got stuck on a couple of occasions with some of the steps. All right, so let's see if we can get through bags 1 to 4. But first I'm going to have a look at the instructions And we're going to see who's behind this set, because I literally have no idea what the history of the set is. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus. Gosh, this camera is so temperamental. Alright, so usually with LEGO Idea sets, they have a section in the instructions talking about the set, the person who designed the set, and the person who came up with the idea, and also the set designer. Okay, so here we go. So the set designer is this dude here from Belgium. He is a school teacher and a children's book author. Yeah, it's still blurry for some reason. Maybe I need some more lights. There we go. That's a little bit better. So that's the fan designer, and he's represented by that minifigure with the Gumball machine there. And let's see the set. Okay, just having a look to see if there is any information about the set designer. It just says something about the team. At the back, of course, you got this information about the what they tell you the LEGO Ideas review process is, but it's very simple actually. You just get 10,000 people to vote on something, but first get LEGO's approval to list the project, and then LEGO has to approve the project once and if it gets to 10,000 supporters. So it's pretty much political at this point. So yeah, no information about the specific people who built this set. And yes, you can get more of the spheres from bricks and pieces, although they are quite expensive. I got a few of them here. These came with my bricks and pieces order, which finally arrived this morning. And at the moment, as far as I can tell, they're only available in blue, yellow, and transparent, which matches this set. And similar to the AliExpress version, you got these instructions, and I guess we're building these gifts along the way, starting with the set designer, who's represented, funny enough, as a yellow minifigure. Now, here's why I put it off until now to build the official version of this vending machine. You've seen Little Lego and you've seen Mayo Hosco build the official set in their live streams, and no doubt you've seen your favorite YouTubers build the set as well. I'm going to do something a little bit different, a little bit more significant, and you're going to see what it is. A full set of one of each color for a couple of dollars. So do you mean you can get the spheres as all blue, or... Oh no, you mean... Sorry. Let me see if I understand you correctly. So the set contains 8 each of these balls in blue and yellow. So there's a total of 8 blue halves, 8 yellow halves, and 16 transparent ones. So you're saying that you can get them, you can get all 16 of these balls for a couple of dollars. Oh, I see, I see. So just one of these. So, no, 2 of these with the 4 pins for a couple of dollars. Maybe a little bit more than that, I think. Well, I certainly paid a little bit more for that. I think it was roughly 50 pence each for each of the halves. The pins you can get dirt cheap. You can actually buy some on AliExpress. You can get some third-party ones on AliExpress. Or if you're very lucky, you can find them being sold on Brickowl or the other sites very cheaply if you're happy with used parts. So I'm going to put these to the side for the second. And very helpfully, the figure is included in bag 1 instead of being dumped in with a whole bunch of other bits. And then of course the torso comes with the arms and the hands attached. Cool. And yes, you can usually find the pins or the axles in sets as extra pieces because they're so small. Let's put the minifigure together first of all. He's got a coin and he has the... okay, fair enough, they don't actually show how the machine is built, but I'll build it anyway. So yeah, in total it took about a month for the bricks and pieces parts to arrive, which has really killed the momentum for this particular thing. But that's what we've got to do. I think the only remedy is once we've ordered the parts to build one set, or to build one model, get to work on the next one. So anyway, I'm going to put this together so we have things somewhat organized. So if you haven't seen before, that is how the ball is assembled. I don't know if these parts actually appear in other sets yet. I haven't looked, I haven't studied that particular thing. And the loose bits will go in this container right at the back. Let's get to building. Alright. So I did say I was going to do something a little bit different with this set. And now I can spill the beans. So every other YouTuber would reach for these red bricks, but I'm not going to. Instead, my minifigure vending machine is going to be black. That's why I had to wait for the bricks and pieces order, because I've replaced all the red parts in this set with black ones. Now, I don't know if anybody else has done it. I don't know if anybody else has done this color swap thing, but I figured, you know, some people, quite a few people would actually capitalize on the set's release. If I'm going to do it, at least do something different, you know. So I just had that idea, and I think it's going to look pretty good. Now, just give me a second. I'm going to see if I can find the respective piece. Yes, I can. Alright, Kathy asks, why am I using black? Because she's having a panic attack right now. I'm using black because, first of all, I made a conscious decision that, well, I don't like red first and foremost. I've watched a few of these restoration videos that are quite popular on YouTube, and one thing that gets my goat is that they usually decide to paint the things that they're restoring red, and it's quite boring, quite frankly. But to answer Little Lego's question, yes, I looked up all the parts that come in the set, and I use a program called Brickstore to fetch all the parts. I did a little bit of research into all the red pieces in this set, and I experimented with changing the colors to see what was available, and it turned out I can replace everything that's red in the set with black parts, hence why this set is going to be a black minifigure vending machine. And of course, because of how this space works, now that I'm doing it, it's going to be all the rage. And now you're going to see a whole bunch of people doing the same thing as they do. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen somebody do a color swap for this set, because I could be absolutely wrong. Now, one could say it's very surprising that black is one of the most common colors, but it is certainly one of the oldest colors used in LEGO. Well, yeah, naturally, other people have done color swaps. As a matter of fact, JDP did one or several color swaps for one of the Speed Champion sets, and I think that definitely makes a difference. Yeah, I think white would have been a very nice color to do for this set as well. I don't think all of the parts were available in white, however. And yeah, one thing that is definitely a relief this time around is that the instructions are nice and big. I can actually see a lot better what's going on in each step. So yeah, there are definitely some lighting kits available for this set. I saw some on, by accident I saw them on Amazon and AliExpress. I'd be very concerned about which one I go for though, because they look very different, and I don't know if they'd actually be as effective as advertised. So Little Lego did the accidental buying of another set thing that some of us like to do. Okay, so you did the color swap. Okay, so you basically reversed the colors in the official set. I'm guessing through buying parts elsewhere. That's pretty cool. But hey, this could start another trend, you know, people deliberately doing color swaps of sets. Who knows? But that's excellent stuff. Let's Lego. Oh, almost used a red part there. So yeah, the to get the black parts to replace the red ones in this set, I did a combination of looking through my personal collection, getting quite a few of the parts from LEGO's online store, which really should be a last resort because of how long it takes, but also looking on what I call the other sites, the competing sites of Brick Owl. Okay, yep. There actually was somebody who did color swaps of one of the small vehicles in LEGO City a while ago. So I can't remember the set number, but there was a small car, and basically, I mean, I like the model in and of itself, but they decided to build the same car but using every single LEGO color ever made as far as they could, and it's a really nice collection. Well, as you can imagine, Kathy, I do like this set. This is actually the first LEGO Ideas set I've bought in a while. The first one that I've actually been rather excited about. It is on the expensive side, however, so definitely check it out if it ever gets discounted. How's it going, Brick Together? I would, hang on, let me use red. I would certainly recommend the Pantasy Gumball machine as the original. Whether or not this set was inspired by it or not, I'd recommend getting it if you can. I found it rather difficult to get hold of. I know that the Pantasy version can effectively act as a regular Gumball machine, although the mechanism is purely cosmetic. Oops, gotta plug myself in. There we go. This set's the LEGO vending machine. I don't know. I know that LEGO is very funny when it comes to using LEGO for food-related purposes. But maybe somebody would or already has tried using it for that purpose. Maybe you could be the first. So when this is finished, hopefully I'll be able to show you guys another particularly cool thing, but that's going to come much later. Yeah, you'd potentially get a lot of crumbs and dust inside the machine, and then you'd have to worry about bacteria, all those nasty things that nobody really wants to think about. Oh, that's a plate. My bad. Excuse me. But I guess you could counter that by putting the sweets inside of the balls. So you'd only have to, for lack of a better term, clean the balls. And take it from me, balls can be very hard to clean sometimes. I was actually wondering what I'm going to do with all these red parts, since I'm not going to be using them in this build. And I might use them for something else. Sorry, for those who can't see, which you probably won't, I've got a whole bunch of parts in here, especially put together for this alternative color swap build. And now I'm being reminded that black is rather difficult to sort through. Yes, there are 16 minifigures in this LEGO Ideas set. I don't know if that's a record or anything. I certainly don't remember a LEGO Ideas set having this many minifigures. And as I was saying a while ago, what would be really cool is if LEGO made extension packs, or if they had special releases for addition to this set. Just a thought. So Little Lego says you can have up to 32 minifigures in this machine. Yeah, you probably could. I think there's just enough space in there for 32 minifigures. Sorry folks, I'm still trying to find a couple of these pieces. I probably should have done some sorting before this live stream, but it's okay. There we go. So having built the AliExpress version, I have an idea of things to look out for, especially with the mechanism that's coming up in one of the later stages. Yeah, I could have, but I was lazy. And now, but fortunately we're coming to the end of bag one. Just have to put these bits on. I'm going to start with the white pieces and then figure out which of the black ones to add. These are 1x5s. Oh no. Tricked me again. Yeah, that mechanism got you too, eh? I actually don't understand why they did it like that, but I'm not a technic person. So they probably have a better idea than I ever could. Alright, that's the end of bag one. And this is what it looks like. Except I was meant to use black plates. Nobody warned me about that. So I'm gonna have to take these off. Well, too late now, little Lego. But thanks for the thanks for letting me know. Okay. All right. I'll in that case, I'll assume you're telling the truth. But this is what it's meant to look like with all the red parts replaced. And it's, I mean, the colors are kind of throwing it off for me, but it's looking pretty decent right now. And including all the red pieces, we have these spare. And yet another brick separator. This one is a genuine LEGO one, which we can tell because of the logo on the end. But where do I put these red pieces? Fortunately, I have a box. There we go. All right, that's that. Now we're on to bag 2. How's it going, Never Too Old? Hopefully you're taking care of that injury. But glad to see you over here. If you're just joining us, you're witnessing a world premiere, an exclusive, which is no doubt going to be copied by millions of other people. We are essentially doing a color swap of the official LEGO minifigure vending machine. Now, of course, if I'm absolutely wrong, let me know in the comments if you've seen anybody else doing something like this with this set. Alright, very interestingly, this version of the astronauts or the spaceman has the old style helmets. I have the AliExpress ones somewhere. Actually, I have them right here. Alright, so you can see there's a slight difference in the helmets. On the right is the genuine LEGO one, which uses the classic style, and the AliExpress one uses the more modern racing driver helmets. And this is the space person with the wrench, which also doubles as a very basic brick separator or brick breaker. There you go. If I have another alternative version, I can test to see how many I can fit inside. Yeah, I could certainly do that. Wouldn't want to do it with the official version, or at least not yet. Okay, so that's that one. And then we have this rather fancy female pirate person who has a flintlock pistol and a map. Double-sided head, and that is how she looks. And maybe appropriately, she has a blue ball. Whose, I have no idea. Alright, so she will go over here. And now, bag 2. I have to take things somewhat easy because of this trapped nerve, but I am okay. I'm just glad I have use of my arm. Nice, Never Too Old. Is everything alright with the new place? Here's hoping you don't have to move again anytime soon, because moving is painful, I can tell you from experience. Nice. Okay, that's nicer, at least that you get to move into a bigger place. Okay, nice and intensive this one. We got to place a total of 28 of these curved slopes. Fortunately, I had a few of these in my collection, so I didn't have to buy as many. I still had to buy a few. Yeah, I have to admit to you guys, I have been feeling rather moody this last week. Mostly because it's near the end of the year. The days are very short and the night is long. And I think about everything that's happened this year and what's going on in general. And it's very hard to keep my spirits up sometimes, but I do, because I know that things could be a heck of a lot worse. And I have things like this to look forward to. It would have been nice if this happened sooner, but then I think everything in terms of when these bits arrived has happened exactly when they needed to. So it's all good in the end. But yeah, as far as Christmas goes, I'm just looking to get through it as usual. It's not quite just another day, but it's nothing particularly special. Very much looking more forward to the new year. There we go. No problem, little Lego, you get those errands done. This is going to take a while anyway, and you have the bonus of not having to listen to me, but it's all good. I think what's going to be interesting, I remember there was a correction that had to be made in the AliExpress version. I wonder if I'm going to have to do the same thing in this set, or a similar thing. Yeah, I may still be here in an hour. It depends if I run into any problems. But yeah. Do I have seasonal mood disorder? I don't know, actually. I really don't know. I do have one of those lamps, and it does work. I have it somewhere. I don't know, to be absolutely honest. No, I think think in particular. It's just the whole thing about Christmas, and also if I'm absolutely honest, just seeing how things have changed since moving to this area, and seeing just how far it's fallen. Vitamin B12, definitely one of my favorite vitamins, and I probably should take multivitamins far more often. But yeah, as far as my my new local area goes, I'm certainly hoping that things improve, although it's quite difficult to see how, if there are plenty of people who seem to like how things are. But I think things can improve. There's not much I can do about that, however. I can say that on my end, given that I've gone through a lot, so I'm quite optimistic about what's going to happen next year. Thank you, Brick Together. Definitely hope you have a good Christmas as well. But yes, I'm very much into vitamins and things. I like my B12. I got vitamin C, ZMA. I'm also a fan of, I can't remember what the A is, but zinc and magnesium. I'm definitely a fan of those. I've got to take extra vitamin D. I know that much. One other thing I like is apple cider vinegar, although it's not the easiest thing to digest. But I do like it. Just 2 of those. That's the end of bag 2. We've got all these red bits left and a few spare parts. Got an extra set of pauldrons, I think they're called. But yes, speaking of the new year, goes without saying that I am excited about the Brick Crawl Raid Train. 6 AM to midnight Eastern Standard Time on the 31st of December. I now have a plan of what I'm going to do during my section. That's assuming I still have a section, which I'm pretty sure I do. I'm looking forward to that, and looking forward to seeing most of you there as well during the day. Alright, so I have no idea what faction this is from, but we've got this dude. He actually has this thing covering his mouth. And he has the whip, and he has a shield. Well, if I remember correctly, the deadline is tomorrow, right? Yeah, so I have I made sure I took the day off work. That's the figure. Kind of feels funny saying that now, but I've taken the day off of work on the 31st, and as much as I can, I'm going to be tuning in to see what other people contribute to the raid train. I think it's very important to support each other. And yeah, very much looking forward to it. So now we're on bag 3, and these bits, these wedge bricks, they were a headache to get hold of. With regard to vitamins, I have taken to having, you know, those fizzy tablets. I prefer using those because it's, I mean, I can have the capsules, but I just think it's a lot more convenient to use the fizzy tablets. In my opinion, stuff gets where it has to go a lot quicker using tablets. No problem. No problem, no problem. You know what, it's something that I guess we take for granted, but I'm so relieved that these official sets divide sections into bags. Because I can't imagine how painful it would have been to build something like this, where everything was mixed together. And we'd certainly have to spend time preparing all the bits. So these versions of the slopes have a texture to them, certainly compared to the AliExpress version. Okay, clips like that. Shows us how to attach them, and just like the other version, they sit here, which gives us the ramp down out the machine. Gotta clip this one again. There we go. So it does say in the instructions they had the designers had a time figuring out the mechanism to simulate an actual Gumball machine. I think that was part of the allure of this set, figuring out, or seeing how the designers figured out how to make things work. Okay. Yep, like this, this, this. I think we need a better camera angle. Give me a second. Let's see if I can make some adjustments. That's the ramp. It's okay, Alexandria, I understand. I do want to improve the camera angle though, because it's one thing to build this thing, but I gotta keep the audience in mind. Let's see if that works a bit better. think that's a little bit better. Okay. Still moving in this piece. So, for those who are curious, I have replaced every single red piece that appears in this set with black ones. Even some that probably didn't have to be red or black. Guess it sits here. Oh, it's okay, right in here where these tiles are. I think it's gonna look really, really good. I guess the only change I would make, thinking about it, is I would make these medium stone grey pieces white. I think that would make it look even more interesting. But if we're going to add the option of lighting as well, then maybe we don't have to. So I'm kind of getting goosebumps thinking about it. Anyhow, this is... I've even replaced these axles. That's the right length. Yep. Okay, and then we got two of these bricks. And that goes... Oh, there's a gotcha there, because it's also added some more parts that are quite easy to miss. No, we're not using red. So we need two 1x3 bricks. A 1x2. There we go. That should be it. Yeah, I was actually on very briefly with both Alexandria and Little Lego on his live stream, and I thought it was great, engaging with both Little Lego and Alexandria. Definitely think Alexandria should have her own channel though. But we can work on that. Oh dear. 3D printer's been giving me some problems recently, but it's okay. Nothing's caught fire yet, which is good. Yeah, I think I definitely think it's good that you're at least joining. Well, Alexandria is joining in on Little Legos live stream, and I think it's only going to be a matter of time before Alexandria gets her own channel and potentially leaves us all in the dust. But no, it's all good. Okay, we're building this bridge. Had it, where did it go? Gosh, this reminds me of when I first started and started building my collection of parts. I did the rookie thing of organizing parts by color. And it seemed to work well until I got to the black parts. And then obviously the problem is trying to find specific pieces in black. But that's part of the evolution process, I guess. And I had that piece and I just can't see it. It's definitely in here though. There it is. Okay. Gosh, that was annoying. Okay, we are back. Well, at least I thought I was back. I'm still going to find another couple of parts. But I can do this for the time being. Ugh, it disappeared on me. Okay, there's one. There's the other one. Okay. All right, that's that. And then we need a 1x4 brick and a 1x4 plates, which are right here. And then, oh boy. Cool. Found that. This, okay, I remember now. This is for the coin. Press your bricks. Press your bricks. There we go. Alright, that's that. And that goes here. Is that the end of bag 3? Not quite. Very close though, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I do like Little Lego's suggestion of pre-sorting the parts according to the bag numbers to make this a little bit more pleasant to watch as a live stream. But that's something I can learn for next time. But hey, it's a good tip for anybody else looking to do something like this. I've already gone over my hour. It might not be so important now, but it's definitely worth considering for the brick haul. I'm going to assume that I have a hard 1 hour limit. Interesting. Can't seem to find the other plates, although I know it's here. Well, pre-sorting I think is good, especially when your time is limited. But I understand. I mean, even today when I finally got these pieces from LEGO, I just wanted to get right into it. There it is. I really just wanted to start building right away and, you know, forget all this live streaming stuff. But at the same time, this is this is groundbreaking. So I wanted to make the most of the opportunity. Building on a live stream is very different to building on your own time. All right, that's the end of bag 3. Whoops. And right now it's looking like this, which is rather nice, I think. Very different to the red offering from LEGO. And we have all these red pieces and a few spares from bag 3. Hang on, did I put the... Yeah, I meant to use a different box for the red parts. Never mind. So let's try bag 4. We got another couple of figures. This time we have the first of the gold space people. But similar to the AliExpress version, this is more of a pearl gold. Gotta check those paper bags in case something gets stuck inside. But I think we are good. Yep. Can always hold it up to the light just to make sure. And this space person has a, I'm gonna guess it's a torch. Because if it's meant to be something else, they could have used a different accessory, I think. And similar to the teal space person, they have the old school helmet, which I think definitely suits this figure a lot more. And where's the utensil piece? I can't see it at the moment, but got a couple more of these things to put together. There it is. We'll assemble this, and then we'll move on to the next figure, which is a female from Paradisa. That's the first gold space person. If I remember correctly, I've said this before, I think the figures included in the set were voted on by people on LEGO Ideas. You heard, so Alexandria has an exclusive, apparently, that one of the figures in the future collectible minifigure sets is going to be a Bionicle figure. That wouldn't surprise me. I don't know if it's an anniversary year. I don't think it is. They might do something like that for an anniversary year. Maybe have a figure representing past LEGO themes or something like that. But it wouldn't surprise me. There are fans of Bionicle. That's the Paradisa figure. 92, which I believe was the year that the Paradisa theme was around. And it's who comes with a lime green camera and a blue and yellow parrot or bird. Alright, so now we're building section 4. I think naturally there would be an Ninjago figure, so it sounds from the outset as if it's some kind of anniversary collectible minifigure series. So I have the next series pre-ordered, and naturally I'm going to show them in the live stream once they arrive. I think it's going to be, as usual, one for the collection. There hasn't really been anything that I have wanted more than one of for quite some time. One more of those slopes. I really shouldn't spend so much time trying to find these pieces. I mean, I think that would be a good idea for a collectible minifigure series, and I don't see why they shouldn't do something like that. They've already kind of done it with the space-themed collectible minifigures, in the sense that they did some obvious gender swaps of older figures. Okay, like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with some of the older themes. Yeah, the Spider-Man figures. I haven't seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse or any of those other movies, so I didn't feel any type of way about those. I guess every year I'm hoping that they don't increase the prices again. I think we're going to see another, what I call stealth price increase next year, unfortunately, but what it's going to be on, I have no idea. Yeah, I heard people really liked that movie. That's a pin. For some reason these pins look a little bit different, but could just be me. So I've got to build 2 of these. That goes. Okay, that goes underneath. That goes here. There, and then that, and then we put these, one here and then one here. That last one goes here. Whoops. That's those 2. Feels a little bit wobbly here, but it's okay. There we go. Okay, I'm going to assume that's another Lord of the Rings set. This Minas Tirith. Haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings, by the way. You can probably tell. So how much was the Riverdale set? I think from the talk I've heard it was around the 600, 700 mark, if I heard correctly. Well, as I said elsewhere, the problem is that LEGO now knows that they can charge that much for a LEGO set, and good little AFOLs and other fans are going to go out and buy the set anyway. Finances be damned. So if this set is going to be anywhere near the size of the last one, it's going to cost around the same, if not a little more, I would say. Just gonna find some more black round tiles to make this piece. I mean, this set is I mean, I would have really liked this set as a kid, but there's no way of being able to justify, let alone afford, paying this much for this particular set. I'll certainly have to hope that I could find it discounted somewhere. And even if AliExpress was an option, yes, I could get that version of the set, but I don't think I would have been particularly satisfied if it wasn't the official version. Certainly be made fun of at school if it wasn't the official version. Excuse me. See, my thing is, I come from the era where the most expensive LEGO sets were train sets, whether it was the space monorail or a city train set of some kind. So I'm thinking, if I'm going to pay that much for a set, then it's got to actually do something. It's not going to be just a fancy display piece. And I would say, without having had any real experience with the sets that cost that much, a lot of what I see people doing with these sets is just having them as display pieces. And it just seems a waste to me, but that's just me. Who am I? To lean in a little bit to see this step. Fortunately, there shouldn't be any confusion. Yeah, I guess I just think differently, Alexandria. Okay, yes, some of the things that I get are for display. Certainly, the models that I design are for display. I just think if we're going to pay that much for a set, then it's got to do something other than look good on the shelf. And I guess it's most people's dream who are into Lego to have their own city. I would certainly like to do that, and I'm in a better position to do that now, but cities take planning. They take a lot of time, a lot of pieces, and I don't really have that luxury. I need all the space I can get right now. Maybe it's a retirement project, I don't know. Here's a question. Do you think, I'll get to that comment in a second, but do you think this would be a good thing to take to a fan show or fan event? Because technically it is basically an official set, it's just been recolored. I appreciate the compliment though, Alexander. At this stage, I have to be absolutely honest. I don't know if I am actually that much more talented. It's just that I have a real urge to actually do things, you know. I'm very much aware that I probably won't be able to do things as well as other people. I certainly don't have the backing most of the time, but it's important that I actually do things, and I think that's the main thing. Have I already done this step? No, I haven't. Yeah, if it lit up, it would definitely be. I think it would be rather well received, but the only thing is that I probably wouldn't be able to have the lighting up feature if it was one of these official or sanctioned Lego events, because Lego is quite strict on these things, these third-party things. So, for example, I probably wouldn't be able to take it to the Great Western Brick Show, because even though people have done things such as 3D printing things to go with their models, it's generally only a problem when I introduce it to people and tell them it's okay. It's worth a try though. Personally I think there's nothing wrong with taking official sets and displaying them, as long as you've actually done something with them. So it's not just displaying the sets. Maybe if it was part of a collection, then it could be forgiven. But just as with anything, to be absolutely honest, just checking if I've missed anything. There's no point in doing anything, in my opinion, if we're not going to add something to it. Okay, that is the end of bag 4, and we got these bits left. No problem, never too old. Now I could be very, very, very cheeky and say we could go for one more bag before I call it a night. And I'm not even going to wait for an answer. I'm going to go for one more bag and then call it a night. I'm really liking how this is turning out so far. Bag number 5. And this time we have a knight figure with a yellow ball. And this one has pearl gold hands. I couldn't really see in the AliExpress version. So yeah, since Alexandria hasn't been to a LEGO show before, apparently, I guess there's a few things to know. Not that I'm any kind of expert, but over here at least you got the, I guess you could call them unofficial fan events, and then you got the official fan events. So over here we have the Brick Festival series of events, which take place all around the country in different venues, and it's run fairly independently. And they do get, I seem to be missing the, oh no, I got tricked, there isn't actually any bodywear on this figure. So the main advantages of these unofficial events is that there are a lot more of them. They're held all around the country, and it's an opportunity for the people who display at these events to get something out of it in terms of just a few small incentives. And then you have the official events, which I guess LEGO themselves have some involvement with. That's the figure, by the way, which you can't really see because of the lighting. So things such as the Great Western Brick Show, which used to be the biggest event in the UK. I think that's been superseded by Bricktastic, which is the one that Never Too Old knew about. That one I think has more of LEGO support, although technically it's run by a charity. And there are generally rules as to what can be displayed and even shown at one of these official events. So for one, everything has to be genuine LEGO. You can't have third-party items. And they're also very restrictive, as you can imagine, on the kind of themes that you can have at one of these events. Yeah, this is the bit that I guess myself and Little Lego got stuck on. This is the mechanism. And it's probably better I get this out of the way, because I did not enjoy this bit at all. Let me see if I can improve things here. Not that much. It's a shame I can't zoom in. But anyhow, the main advantage of the official events is because they're more heavily supported by LEGO, they tend to be more global. So that a lot more people will not only register to exhibit at these events, but you'll get generally a larger audience than the unofficial events. So they are particularly good for networking between other fans of LEGO and even people within LEGO themselves. Now, I don't know if I'll ever end up at an official event again, especially given what's happened over the last few years, and particularly this year. By all rights, I should still be able to go though, but we will see. I think, to be absolutely honest, there's a huge incentive for me to still be able to go to these things, because I at least bring something different. Yeah, I'm going to big myself up here. I at least bring something different to the table. But yes, at the moment, I'm not really thinking about events. I just have to get back to a nice cadence of designing things, making things, and getting back on my feet. This seems to be going a little bit more smoothly than last time. Maybe because I'm more aware of what's going on. But yeah, with all that said, I would certainly recommend going to an event at least once if you can, even if it means traveling, if you can travel. So at least you can see or get an idea of what's what. Thank you, Alexandria. There's a lot more that I should be doing, and there's a lot more that has to be done. But I think I'm making progress. Yeah, this is going a lot more smoothly, I think, because mainly because of the instructions being a lot larger. Gosh, I still have no idea how they came up with this particular part of the build, though. Okay, yep, that goes here like that. Yep, that's cool. Yeah, I guess it's similar to comic book conventions. I've only been to well, one. I can say I've been to one. That was quite a big one, and I can see that it's quite similar to a comparable size Lego show. Let's face it though, the bigger events are more about the so-called celebrities, so people go to them to meet their favorite personalities and things, which is okay. But the smaller people are going to struggle in terms of getting attention unless they have something particularly spectacular. The smaller ones, I think, are pretty good for engaging with people, especially as a not so famous person. Especially if you do more than one of them. And I think the brick festivals, they're particularly good for that. Some of them don't get very many people. I think it's a lot to do with the location. And one thing I realized as well is that the location and perhaps the time of year greatly affects what people respond to in terms of what's on display. Now technically I could use the red bits for this because it's part of the mechanics and you probably won't see this, but I did get some black ones. Ooh, William Shatner. Yeah, fun story actually. Yeah, he's going to be quite a big deal actually. Although I probably would have opted to, if he was still with us, to get Leonard Nimoy's autograph. I'm not a Star Trek fan, but he was one of the villains in Columbo, which I particularly liked. So it would have been interesting to get his autograph. But anyway, fun story at the at one of the big London Brick Festivals a couple of years ago, which was the first time I met Wes. I don't know if you guys know who Wes is. He's well, he's quite a big deal now. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Yes, at this big brick festival, which was held in Earl's Courts. It's a big venue, and there was a whole bunch of stuff going on the same day. There were quite a few celebrities in the neighboring film and television convention. Okay, so Leonard Nimoy didn't go to conventions. Fair enough. Okay. All that just to say that one person I certainly didn't expect to see at this film and television convention was none other than Chuck Norris. Now, as you can imagine, the lines were pretty much anything unheard of to get Chuck Norris's autograph and speak to him. Now, of course, I didn't, but I got to see him at least. No, well, I was going to say I wasn't standing close enough for him to punch me, but that doesn't matter since he's Chuck Norris. But yeah, it was amazing seeing all the celebrities. I did feel quite bad for some of them because they were celebrities from quite a while ago, and hardly anybody was queuing up, if anybody, to get their autograph or speak to them. One of those people was actually, I did see Cynthia Rothrock, another martial artist, and I saw there were quite a few Bond girls, obviously older Bond girls at the events. A few people from Doctor Who as well, and some other things. But yeah, I was busy with the Brick Festival, so I didn't really have the time to go and approach anybody. And I get nervous about approaching celebrities anyway. Yeah, to be absolutely honest, I think, well, for me personally, it's best not to meet my heroes because I just get embarrassed. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, there's another bits which I don't think has to be recolored, but I did anyway. It was this piece which I had to get through bricks and pieces. And there we go. That goes here. See, again, I have no idea whatsoever how somebody could come up with this. Rest in peace, Uhura. At least if I remember correctly, she's no longer with us, but that's cool. Just thinking in the back of my mind, even though I guess I'm celebrity averse, who I wouldn't mind bumping into. Can't really think of anybody, to be absolutely honest. Just looking for one last piece. Welcome back, little Lego. I've gotten this far. I'm on this mechanism piece, which quite frankly is a lot easier this time around. But still, I have no idea how they came up with that that particular build. Ah, there it is. Right, so I can see these bits didn't have to be black, but I think just for purity, and I did use a couple of, or more than a couple of red axles here. I made them black. Keanu Reeves. You see, I always remember Keanu Reeves from the Bill and Ted days. I can't get that image out of my head, but obviously he's done a lot more than that. I wouldn't mind meeting him. It's not something on my bucket list though. But yeah, I guess he would be cool. better get a move on. We're approaching the 2-hour mark. This is way too much silent mode for one night. So you're looking for some 1x5 plates. Definitely not used to those. There's one. Next time I've got to be organized. Oh my goodness. My goodness, thank you, Never Too Old. Let's see who got the gift memberships. We got Brick Together, we got Relions. Who's doing a very interesting, well, he's doing a couple of very interesting 3D printing projects. We got the infamous Catherine Miley got membership as well. And yes, I'm reminded I've got to put out at least one members only video before the end of the year. I wonder who else has gotten one. They said, I think they're meant to be 5. No problem. I think YouTube has got to scour the depths of the earth to find 2 more people to give memberships to. Okay, but since you guys are here, let me ask you, what kind of things would you want to see as part of the channel membership? Because I have no clue. I mean, I could put things out, but I don't know if it's what anybody wants to see. So let me know what you'd like to see as part of a channel membership. Can't receive gifts. How come? If you don't mind me asking. Okay, so that goes here. That's an interesting idea, actually. I'm thinking though I'd have to have something to put in them to get people's interests. Is it meant to do that? I don't know. Right, so Alexandria enjoys me trying out smaller sets. I'm gonna guess that the Zuru Max sets were particular hits. I haven't looked at the numbers, but people seem to enjoy those, and I liked doing them. I remember taking a chance on those because I thought it was something that only I would be potentially interested in. But they are particularly good sets. I think I went wrong somewhere here. Smaller versions of these ducks. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write that down. All right. Well, yeah, I'd have to have some way of moderating the machine, as in who can use it. I think I'd want them to dispense the gifts themselves, but you get people being funny, trying to do it more than once, trying to break in, etc. I think that would be a sign, however, that they really like the ducks. That's actually pretty neat. Now, of course, I'd have to be very careful if children were involved, because there's all kinds of issues with filming children. But that would be, especially for getting what's the word I'm looking for? I guess social proof. Especially for getting something like that to encourage more people to subscribe. That would be a really good idea. As a matter of fact, I really like that idea. It's definitely something I could potentially do without having to have LEGO's permission. So I'm gonna have to look into that. Well, yeah, of course I wouldn't ask the kids. Heck, it doesn't even have to be in a toy store. I could, excuse me, I could take the machine to one of these events, one of these brick festivals. I could set it up there, and I could present people with the offer. You know, I could, whether they want to buy one of the ducks or whether they want one for free if they allow me to film them. it would hopefully get people interested in interacting with it, and it's a win-win, perhaps win for everybody. They get to take away gifts, I get the footage to use on my channel. The event gets to say, you know, we had this crazy guy with a vending machine doing something a little bit different, and people seem to like it. Hopefully they'll like it. Again, I meant to use black pieces here, almost got carried away. Yes, literally just remembered. Although these bits are hidden, but you'd still be able to see them, so it's important, I think, to make sure that they are black. And this is probably the only time you'll ever hear anybody in the LEGO space say it's important that these are black. I just got to find that other half circle brick. Yeah, please somebody make notes of this idea, because I'd really like to do this. And I just got to thinking right now, all this talk recently about balls and, you know, sets in balls and gumballs and vending machines and things. Isn't it ironic that it's going to take somebody with balls to actually put this idea into practice? Just thought I'd slip that one in. Yeah. Fortunately, this is going to be the end of the bad jokes for the night, because I have gotten to the end of bag 5. I'm just going to double check, because I seem to have a couple of spare pieces. Whether I have... Oh my goodness. Whether I have forgotten to add something somewhere. Yes. Oh gosh. Not discharge, just charge. Never too old with his own ball related jokes. Yeah, I completely missed a few things there. 3D printers making some horrible sounds in the background. Okay, that seems to be it. Except to place this where it belongs on the machine. Let's put this away. There we go. All right, slot this in place somehow. You know, one of the things that got me down this week was, well, I have to be absolutely honest, it was meeting with Arseni's lab on Friday, talking a lot about content creation and doing things with the aim of getting millions of views. And naturally, it involved basically a teardown of the channel as it stands. But it got me thinking about what exactly it was I was trying to do or want to do. And it's good to have these ideas, these adventurous things. But we were talking earlier about this idea of having 1 million subscribers and being a big YouTuber. That's actually not really my goal, because that involves a completely different mindset, one that I don't actually have. But anyway, enough ranting, enough babbling. This is where we are at right now with the machine. This is bags 1 through 5, and it's looking pretty nice. I personally think this looks a lot better than LEGO Red, but that's purely me. And we have, after review, all these parts left from bag 5, including a spare sword. So I'm going to call it for tonight, and I think I'll come back tomorrow night with the remainder of this build. And hopefully excuse me, hopefully I will have something else, as if there's anything more that could blow your mind. But hopefully I'll have something else to surprise you guys with tomorrow as well. So all that's left to say is thank you guys for playing along once again. I really appreciate your support, and here's hoping that the rest of this build is going to go smoothly. Until next time though, this is SilentMode, maker, artist and LEGO enthusiast, thanking you all for a great chat tonight, and always encouraging you